Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dego Podcast. I'm your co-host Andrew, alongside my co-host Marissa. Marissa, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just here, excited for the new Premier League season, which starts tomorrow. Well, today by the time this podcast is released.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I must say though, I am a bit surprised that you are excited for a new season. What is that? Play football, or are you optimistic about Chelsea's?
Wait. Why are you surprised that I am optimistic or excited about the new season?
Like I said, is it because you're happy that football's returning, or you think it's going to make a season to look forward to, or are you actually optimistic about Chelsea's potential this season?
Honestly, it's two reasons. One, football is back. I've missed it, to be honest. But also, I am seeing a lot of people writing off Chelsea, and I'm like, okay, bring it then. So,
Okay. Oh, okay. So you are approaching this from a I'm going to prove everyone wrong standpoint.
Yep, exactly that.
Okay. Just want to remind you, Marissa, that you do not kick a ball, so you do not have the power or the capacity to prove anybody wrong.
Oh, whatever. Chelsea do it on my behalf.
Chelsea do it on your behalf. But for your sake, I hope so. For your sake, I hope so. But we're not going to start with the Premier League, though. What we're going to start with is the Women's European Championship final.
Oh, do we have to?
And I really should have gone to bookies and place some bets because they got a lot of predictions correct.
I was saying so myself. It was very annoying.
I could have win some money.
Man.
Anyhow, England overcame the old enemy Germany in Sunday's final at Wembley 2-1. I thought it was a very, very good game. Marissa, what are your thoughts?
Well, as you know, I only watched the second half. So I don't mind. The second half and extra time, I should say. And from what I saw, it was a really good game. It was very engrossing. I personally, it was just, there were so many moments in the game where I thought, this is just not Germany's day. So I wasn't surprised by the result. I thought we were very unlucky, starting from even before a ball was even kicked. We had one of our key forwards ruled out. Mm-hmm. Then Pop got ruled out as well. So I was like, man, before a ball has even kicked, we're on the back foot. And even despite that, we really did play well in the game. It's just, we just could not take those chances. And like you correctly predicted on our last episode, England's bench was really and truly the difference.
Well, thank you for the for acknowledgement of my greatness.
Yeah, whatever.
I do try my best, and I don't always get it right, but for whatever reason, I got it right this time. Well, let's see. I watched the game from the beginning, the entire game, most of it. But I do have my thoughts here jotted down, so just gonna go through them really, really quickly as I can. I felt that England started the game well. Actually, let me not start there. I agree with you in terms of Germany had some issues where their starting lineup was compromised before a ball was even kicked, before kickoff. I think Pop being missing was a huge blow, for sure. Since she was in such great form going into the final. I thought England dominated the first 20-25 minutes of the game. Seemed to be the team that carried the most threat. But I felt as though once the half an hour mark arrived and Germany settled into the game a bit and grew into it, I felt that from that point onward, Germany looked the better team. Germany created numerous chances, like you said, couldn't take any of them. I think as the game wore on as well, I felt as though Germany looked the fitter side. I think and that might be the case because England actually for the entire tournament, all 7 or so games that they played, England would have,
use the
played the
same
same.
players more or less.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, 11. I started each game. Had the
Same
same
11 and same
substitution.
subs. Yeah,
Everything. So
same subs.
we clearly had a nucleus of a team, which, like you said, maybe Southgate can learn from. And they were able, to, in different ways at different times get England over the line. But I felt as though Germany definitely were the better side. I felt that England's go-ahead goal from Alatoon was against run of play, but what a ball by Kira Walsh. And I told you from that
What a ball! What a
pass.
ball and what a finish! Yeah,
the finish was good, but I was more impressed with the pass. And I told you from the game against Spain, I told you that Kira Walsh and Jordan Stabby deserve a lot of credit for England's success, especially Kira Walsh. That girl's a pass master. A pass master. Yeah, really, really good. Really, really good ball. Excellent finish that you said. Alatoon took the chance really, really well. And it was like one of those things where, because England, at that point, England didn't look like scoring.
Yeah.
Realistically. I know, England can always, you'll be wary of them because of who they have in the attack or in the midfield areas. To know that they have a goal in them. But they weren't really putting any sustained attacks together. Troubling Germany. But having said that, having taken lead, Germany responded quite well. And they started, faster chances themselves. And the eventual goal scorer, Nina McGill, she could have had a hat trick. She, you would agree. It was a target practice, so she finally hit the target, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably I know what's going through her mind. It's probably a case of what if Alex Pope, Alexander Pope was Pop, right?
Pop, yeah.
Alexander Pop. What if Alexander Pop was fit?
Right.
I was, could have gone on the end of some of those crosses in the box or whatever the case would be.
Because let me jump in quick about the Pop point. The girl up front, I think her name is Leah Schuler. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. She started the tournament well for Germany, but then she got COVID. So then she wasn't as fit as she probably could have been, and I think that impacted the side as well, because I think she probably was not fit enough to start, but they really didn't have any choice because, as I said, I can't remember the name of the forward. I think her last name is Bull. Yeah, I think she got ruled out because of COVID as well. So that's why I say a lot of things were against Germany. And I think even a fit Schuler would have probably been able to put away some chances, but you could tell she was struggling to keep up with the speed of the game. And that's understandable. I mean, you've had COVID, barely trained, not much fit. So I get it.
No. I mean, I think she's match. I think because to me, I kind of like compartmentalize it in terms of there's match fitness. I think she's probably match fit to a certain degree, fit enough to start for sure and play. Mm-hmm. But I think the really issue is that she's not match sharp. She should have that rhythm, that sharpness.
Right.
That consistent games, consistent starts, consistent playing time gets you. I mean, some guys sometimes you come in the team and you hit the ground running, but oftentimes you do need a bit of rhythm. You might need a bit of time.
Yeah.
So quite unfortunate, but McGill did take the game to extra time, or McGill, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Did take the game to extra time, and then Germany again dominated first half extra time for sure. I felt as though England were kind of going off for penalties, but for some reason, I don't know. It was just weird in terms of it felt as though I started second half at extra time. Germany kind of went in a lull, where they kind of like allowed the game to drift slightly.
Yeah,
ever slightly, and then England kind of got the crowd back into it. I think one of the eventual goal scorer clearly was trying to G the crowd up, and then the corner happened.
Yeah.
From there,
it was a real scrappy and ugly goal, though. It was very annoying to watch.
Listen, when you have won a mega tournament in all the years, you don't care if you're going off a player's backside. The point is that he's in net. you're happy. So I'm
But
sure England didn't really care.
yeah, whatever. She scored in the 110th minute, and when that goal went in, I knew it was over. It just had that feeling.
Fair enough. I mean, the game was only full of controversies though, because I heard that Germany felt some key decisions went against them in terms of a penalty call. In fairness to me, I didn't see the penalty call in the game. I'm not sure what I was doing at that stage.
When this was?
That's the thing. I'm not sure when. I think it might have been the second half or first half, maybe second half. Something about a handball decision where the ball hit Williamson's hand in the penalty box, and the German coach was a bit upset about that potential decision not going their way.
Well, VAR has been, so I won't be shocked, but I can't see it. I didn't see it.
Oh Lord.
VAR has been kind to England. Come on.
Well, but you know what? The history, as much as that might be true, the history books will not reflect that VAR has been kind. The history books will reflect that the England Lionesses, you know what I mean? The England women are European champions.
Look, don't mind my saltiness. I think England are deserved winners. I just also felt Germany deserved more from the game, to be honest.
Well, they can only be one winner. I think if Germany had won the game, I wouldn't have complained because I felt as though on the day Germany were the better team. But it's gonna be interesting. And what I like about it is that what I really like about it, Mercer, is that next year's Women's World Cup, you have a lot of potential contenders.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be very competitive. So I hope it's not a case where America do the usual and just stay roll through. I think England have improved. I think Germany have shown enough that with their mixture of youth and experience, they should be
right up
a
there.
wonderful race. Yes, someone to consider. Yeah. I think Spain, France as well, correct? Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of teams that Holland as well. I'm going to describe them later. Yeah. So there are a lot of teams that should be able to give us deliver a high level of competition next year.
So. And it's great to see women's football be so competitive. It's really, really great to see.
It's true.
Because we've had so many years of the US women dominating major tournaments, so I don't think they're gonna have it all their own way at all.
It's true, but just want to make sure that our viewers understand that, at least from my perspective, this is not me rooting against America. The American women, and the American women, that's great, fine. I'm not really that invested in it from a fan standpoint where I care if America, retain the World Cup or not. But I'm just saying, I think it's
you're just celebrating
quality World Cup next year.
Right, exactly.
It shouldn't be correct. All right. So now we can get to your beloved Chelsea and the Premier League. Let's turn our attention to the new season. Start of a new season. We've waited long enough. I am a bit. I wouldn't say excited. I wouldn't say optimistic, but I am looking forward to it. I don't feel excitement because I guess for me, I never go into a season, or for a long time I haven't gone into a season where I allow myself to get too excited, because when you get too excited and then it don't pan out, the way you want it to, it can create a different level of disappointment.
True.
So I'm trying to go into the season on an even keel, from an objective standpoint, especially since we're doing this podcast. So today we're going to be talking about our Premier League predictions. But let's continue on with Chelsea, since that's where you would have left off. So go ahead, tell me about Chelsea.
Must we? We don't have to. Sure. We could just start in order and just do our rankings, and we don't have to start from Chelsea. Although I appreciate the sentiment. We could talk about Chelsea when we get to both of our rankings. I'm actually interested to see if we sync up in our
honestly,
views about the top six.
But it was really, really tough. Just saying. But here's the thing. What I would like to do is that when we go through our rankings, if you need to interject or you need to ask a question, right? Because I think we should explain why we have these feelings about the respective teams.
Okay.
And people want to acknowledge that these rankings these predictions are in no shape or form foolproof, because the transfer window hasn't even closed yet, so a lot could change between now and 31st of August, right?
Definitely.
So we might be like, oh, damn it. There might still be a game changing signing out there at some point. But yeah, so Premier League predictions, top six. You want to start with six and go all the way up, or you want to start with number one and come all the way down?
Let's start at six. Let's make it intriguing.
All right, so I'll go first, if you don't mind. Finishing in sixth position, I have Arsenal.
Interesting.
And I can tell you what. You want me to tell you what?
Go ahead.
Sure. My pleasure. I'll be happy to. So, the reason that I have Arsenal finishing in sixth, and this is not to say that I don't think Arsenal will improve. This is not to say that I don't think Arsenal potentially will have, let's say, a greater point tally, or maybe, a smaller, margin between themselves and the other teams. It's just that I think in those head-to-head Big Six games, or the key moments in the season where Arsenal are under pressure because they need to win, similar to the end of last season in running, for example. I'm still not convinced that Arsenal, as a team, as a personality, have developed enough where they convince me that they can, get results in key moments. I think Arsenal is fine putting results together when they're a long way back and no one is expecting them to, achieve anything, or is in the middle of the season where, is already, you're working your way towards the running, but, it's in the middle of the season where, things are a bit more relaxed, because really, actually, I think the pressure really starts to click on coming into those last 15, 10 games of the season in terms of if you're chasing any specific target. So I think, that's all fine and dandy, but I still don't think the personality of Arsenal team has convinced me that they will beat the B teams away from home, or even get results at home against the B teams, or that they won't drop points against teams in that running when they need the points or when they're overwhelming favorites. Okay. I think that they've made some good signings. I think Gabriel Jesus, like I said, I think that he will score, give him a bit more punch and attack, yes. I think Zinchenko will be a useful signing. This sign someone else. He's Saliba and somebody else, right?
Well, he came back from loan.
Right, he came back from loan. Sorry. So I'm not sure if saying.
They're signing a fella called Marquinhos from Brazil. I think he's a winger.
Right. And they're saying somebody in midfield, right? Correct? From Portugal?
Yeah, Vieira. Correct.
But my point is that if you look at the age profile of those players, I know Jesus has been at City for a while, and he has experience of winning things as well as Zinchenko. But I still feel the overwhelming amount of that squad is an experience. And I think that you'll find, for example, I'm pretty sure that when I turn on my TV on Sky Sports this season, whereas I believe that we will see Graham Souness or whoever the other pundits are on our channel talking about how Arsenal lacks leadership and lacks character. You may go.
So basically, you think that even though they've made good signings, that you're basically going to see the same mistakes of last season.
Correct.
Okay. I agree to an extent, but they're not my sixth place team. So
they're not your sixth place team?
No, they're not.
Who is?
So let me give you my sixth place team. So I guess this is where it's going to get a bit tricky, but
wait, before you do, can I ask one question?
Sure.
So Arsenal's not your sixth place team?
No.
But Arsenal in your top six?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure, because I know that you might be, you can have them at 7th and half less time at 6.
No, I ain't that wicked.
Okay,
but to be fair though, West Ham have made some good signings this season. So
that was stuff.
They can't be discounted for that sixth position either.
Correct. I was really considering, like, should I put a little spanner in the works and push West Ham in here? But anyway, your turn. Go ahead. Who's your sixth place team?
My sixth place team is actually Man United.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they have Ten Hag, and I expect them to do well because they actually have a coach now, something we've talked about. But unless something drastically changes between now and transfer window, I still have my concerns about Man United. I think because they're going to be better coached, they're going to be better. But I think Arsenal have made enough signings to keep them ahead of Manchester United, even though Manchester United have a better coach. If Manchester United get in certain signings, maybe strengthen their midfield, add a bit of depth to the forward line, I think that they will finish ahead of Arsenal. But at this point, with the season due to start tomorrow and with the squads as they are, I still think Manchester United will struggle to finish any higher than 6.
Okay, all right.
Because
But
let me
what?
follow on with your points on Arsenal. So I do agree, and I have Arsenal to be 5th for a lot of those reasons. But I think they're going to be an improved 5th because I
Okay.
think the signings will improve them. But I do 100% agree. I still think that Arsenal needs, and I saw Mikel Arteta alluding to the fact that their business isn't done. I still think Arsenal needs more solidity, defensive solidity in that midfield. And I still think that Arsenal needs more leadership. You have a young manager, you have a young core, you need experienced players in there to guide them because we saw what happened when the pressure was on. And trust me, I can see the way people are talking about Arsenal already. The pressure is already going to be on. They've spent a lot of money over the last 2 summers. People are raving about their signings. People expect Arsenal to finish 4th. And Arsenal do worse when there are actually expectations on them. When nobody expects them to do anything, they play free flowing, they play with freedom when the pressure is off and everything. But I think the pressure is going to be on them. And that's why I think that even though they will improve, they will be an improved 5th. I still don't think that they will get top 4. So I just did my 6th and 5th in one go. But you wanted
Yeah.
to comment on my choice of Manchester United for 6.
Yes, because I have Manu in 5th. So
Okay.
this works well. This works well. I have Manchester United in 5th. And it's very tough because I honestly I agree with everything you said about Manu. They're what's happening at the club right now concerns me a bit.
Yeah.
If it was a Manu fan, it would concern me more. But
You're wicked.
um, Cristiano Ronaldo's theatrics, I guess. Trying to leave the club, leaving matches, before the end of the game. Ten Hag saying is unacceptable. And Cristiano Ronaldo was not alone when he left the stadium. So then the question is that how much influence does he have in that dressing room?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not saying that, but I digress. I see. Mine was an interesting thing because I do agree with you the point that you made about Ten Hag as a coach. I think Ten Hag will improve the playing style, but at the same time, they haven't made that many fundamental signings, and like I said before, I didn't expect them to. I think it's going to be a gradual improvement, transfer window by transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we know he's still going to be playing with a lot of the same guys that would have been part of the field, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, squad. Prior.
Right.
So these players will have their limitations in terms of what he's asking for, and I think it's going to be a similar sort of transformation where transfer window by transfer window, he will try to get players in that can more easily adapt and implement what he wants on the field.
And let me throw in something quickly as well too that I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned having the same players, essentially, it also means that you have the same dressing room that has been rumored to have issues on top of issues for the whole of last season. So then there's that to contend with as well. Yes, everybody has a clean slate under the new manager, but what happens again when one or two results go against them? What then happens to those same players who tend? Because I think it's fair to say that a lot of those players don't tools last season. Like they weren't working as hard. Are you going to see that? Is Ten Hag going to be able to stamp his authority and lay down the law and discipline players when their attitude gets out of line? So there's like you said, there's a lot about the club that is concerning. I mean, we're not fans, so we're not that bothered. But as a Man U fan, I would be concerned about what is going on at that club. Because to go back to the point you made about Cristiano Ronaldo, it was actually said that the club okayed him and the other players leaving. And Ten Hag said he didn't okay. So those things already are kind of like raising a bit of red flags about what's really going on at that club.
Exactly. And who actually have the final say ultimately over the squad? Is it Ten Hag or is it someone in the boardroom? We don't really know. But what I can tell you is, despite all the problems that they currently have, I still expect them to finish. I think that they can finish fifth, right? It's gonna be interesting. But I think Man, you have themselves to blame for the predicament that they're in, which everybody do has to take some responsibility. But I mean, if I'm a Man U fan, I don't like some of the things that they have done. And let me say, wait, they have been chasing De Jong since Adam was a lad.
Wow, that's saga though.
But that shouldn't be a saga because honestly, Marissa, why do you want De Jong? I mean, okay, I don't understand why you want De Jong from a playing standpoint in terms of what he's going to bring to the midfield. But why do you want him? It has been no secret that he says that he has no interest in moving to Manchester United, even though his former manager is there. He prefers to stay at Barcelona, or he prefers to move to Chelsea. You get me? So that already is a red flag. So you come in Old Trafford, dude, sit down and cock your foot and you know what I mean? Like you coming to fight you really coming to fight for my badge and for the shirt. It doesn't appear that way. So why are you still persisting and trying to chase him?
But that's the thing. The narrative is that the reason why they're continuing pursuing him is that clearly there's some private conversation. Yes, a lot has been said publicly, but clearly there's some private encouragement happening. I mean, I saw a journalist, I think it was Melissa Reddy. I think she was the one that said that. Can't be sure, so don't quote me on that. But there's claims that there's some private encouragement that as long as De Jong gets his old salary from Barcelona, he will move to Old Trafford. But then with Chelsea coming in now with this interest that seems to be advancing quickly, I am just genuinely confused by this whole situation. And I think, man, you are going to look completely stupid if one, he doesn't end up coming and staying at Barca, or two, he ends up going to Chelsea.
But here's my concern. I get all that. I get the whole point that Barca owes him some wages that he wants to wages before he departs. I get all of that. He's entitled to his wages. Barcelona pity man. I saw plenty backside. But if his preference is not okay, from what I'm starting to believe, Marissa, honestly, I believe that even if he got his wages tomorrow, I don't think that he prefers a move to Manchester United. I still think that he prefer to go to Chelsea first. You get what I'm saying?
Because
and that's a concern for me. Don't matter what, because that's a concern for me. I think that you should only want players that want to come and play for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Wholeheartedly.
I agree.
So
I agree 100%. And that was kind of my feelings. That was kind of my feelings too, with the sagas that we had with Rafinha and Koundé this summer. A lot of rival fans have been trolling Chelsea over it and such like. But to be honest, I personally don't mind if they don't. Well, obviously they're at Barcelona, no. But me personally, I don't want players, and I've seen this. I've seen this firsthand with Lukaku last season. I don't want players that don't want to come to Chelsea as their first choice. If you're only coming for money or for whatever other reason, then just stay where you are. So for me, if I was a Man U fan, I would have wanted them to pull out of this deal a long time.
Exactly, long time.
It doesn't seem It doesn't seem as if he is that keen on coming.
Exactly. I heard that he prefers to live in London, which he's entitled to, again, rather than Manchester.
I heard that too.
But goodness gracious, you try to get man says to me, at which point you gotta accept defeat and gotta look at somebody else. But you know what? Man, you by all means keep handing him down like going season with Fred and Matt Tomlin. Sorry. You want to say?
Oh gosh.
Actually, but they have Emerson and Fernandez, so they still have some good midfield players in there. Okay, but regardless of all my problems, I just think that Ten Hag's coaching, and I think like the key point for me is the dressing room. Is he gonna be able to get a dressing room to buy into what his philosophy is?
Mm-hmm.
We said that some players are not going to be on board with it. That never happens. You never get a situation with a new manager coming in where everybody buys in. And they said they're going to be for the next coming from in those walls and matches. They are patient with Ten Hag. But that way, said the key for Ten Hag is at the end of this season, regardless of where Man U finish, can we sit down and say then, okay, there has been some improvement. Right. We see something happening. I keep reminding people.
We see an identity. We
Correct.
see a character to the side. Yeah.
Exactly. I keep reminding people that Liverpool finished 8th in Klopp's first season.
Yep. And Man City finished 4th in Pep's.
Exactly. But you can see things happening. So once Man U stays patient, I think that they'll be okay. But the whole thing is that can he get this supposed dressing room to fully bang out? And we need to identify then. We need to figure out who are driving forces in this dressing room. Is it Harry Maguire? Is it Cristiano Ronaldo? Is it Bruno Fernandes? Which direction are they pulling the players?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. He needs to weed out.
Yeah.
Whoever whichever one he believes is negative portion of it. Cristiano Ronaldo has been around for a long time. I'm pretty sure he knows that it's not appropriate under any circumstances unless you're rushing to go and attend to the medical room or something like that. Some extreme situation. I'm pretty sure he knows that it's not appropriate to leave the game, even a preseason friendly before the end of the game. I know that. He know that.
Yeah.
I know that that's not something that someone has to tell him. So I know that was purpose work. He can make sure people see it too. Because you stop and say autographs. You're wicked. You're bad money. But anyhow, at least Ten Hag did shy away from the question that he said after the fact that, he doesn't think it's acceptable. So we'll see where the situation goes. You're still of the opinion that Cristiano Ronaldo will be at Manchester United next season?
I was actually gonna say, based on some of the things that I've been seeing from the reliable transfer sources that I've been following with regards to Chelsea, they're saying that to keep an eye on Ronaldo to Chelsea. Yes, Tuchel isn't keen on it for the footballing reasons because I guess he's more focused now on actually building a side for the future. But Chelsea still needs a goal scorer, and they're saying that is not as dead as it may appear right now. So I think for me, that's the only destination that I can see Ronaldo going to. And because he still wants out, and because the door is still slightly open at Chelsea, I think it's something to keep an eye on between now and the end of August.
Yeah, because Cristiano Ronaldo wants to play Champions League football. And like I said, I may have said before, in my passionate rant, not ranting tonight I'm maintaining my composure. But Cristiano Ronaldo is 37 years of age. He's going to be 38 in February. He doesn't have time to sit around and wait for this rebuild from Ten Hag. He doesn't have a season to wait say Champions League. He's not 30, 31. He's not 29. 1 year Champions is too long for Cristiano Ronaldo. That's the honest truth. Honest to God truth. So I understand and I get the whole reason why he wants to leave. But Cristiano Ronaldo, please no more of the silent protest in terms of leaving the ground early or doing something that undermines the manager. Simply hand a transfer request and make it trend like normal. If you are selected, give your best. It's a long way until the 31st of August. I'm sure that I said a few weeks ago, Marissa, I told you that I think he would get his move. Ultimately. Begrudgingly.
Where do you think he'll go?
Me?
Your instinct telling you.
That is $1 million question, right? I still believe that. I think, like you said, Chelsea might be an option. I would think Man U would want to send with Chelsea because you're a direct, competitor. But I think Chelsea could be an option. I still think Bayern could be an option too, even though I know it's unlikely because Bayern, said that he doesn't fit their football philosophy.
But
That's
let
all.
me throw something at you. Man United have an interest in Hakim Ziyech.
Okay, you do. I can see that.
So it will be interesting. I don't think Chelsea will be dumb enough to sell Ziyech to a top 4 rival without the deal being sweetened in some way. So could that deal be sweetened by Ronaldo going the other way?
It could be.
That's something that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of little things that are happening that is making me think it could happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm not even saying I want it to happen, but it could happen.
Get you. Well, we'll keep watching this space as relates to Manchester United. I'm pretty sure there'll be a nice, interesting topic of discussion as the season wears on. Now, our attention must go to our 4th place team. So
I am intrigued. You go ahead. So far, we have you're saying Arsenal 6, Man U 5th. I'm saying the other way around.
Correct.
So let's see where your 4th place is going.
Don't hit me, Marissa.
I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna do it.
If you get Cristiano Ronaldo, I might change it to 3rd.
I knew you
so
were
that will also my prediction. But right now I have the 4th. And it's very simple. Right. I can tell you what happened in 4th.
I already know what you're gonna say. I can put the words in your mouth. We've talked about it a million times. Our problem is scoring goals, and we haven't done enough to address that yet in the summer.
Correct. Yeah. So that's what happened in 4th.
Okay.
See, it's not any hit though. It's not any hit or anything. I was just trying to be objective. So I had you in 4th because I do think that Conte's influence on Tottenham is going to see Tottenham have a really, really vast improvement this season. So considering the fact that I don't think you have, I can't look forward as I say, well, Chelsea are definitely going to improve their goal return. That's why I have Chelsea in 4th, and as you can imagine, I have Tottenham in 3rd.
Okay, interesting. I would never put Spurs ahead of me. So Spurs are definitely in 4th.
No problem.
Oh gosh. But honestly, I think when you stack it up, yes, Spurs may have, you can see the goals in Spurs team. But on the other hand, Chelsea has the better defense. And I think Sterling improves our attack. I also think, okay, so I guess we can do this as a 2-in-1, a 3rd and 4th. Yeah. So I personally think that a lot of people are sleeping on us this summer. And it's okay. I don't mind. But we've actually made some additions to the site that I think is going to improve the site. I think the fella Armando Broja staying is a good move. Right. Yes, he only scored 6 goals for Southampton. But I think, exactly. And I think in a Chelsea team that does create chances, I think he will score goals. I think that Sterling improves our attack. I think that Conor Gallagher can improve our midfield, especially in terms of that kind of box-to-box creativity thing that he had going on at Palace last season. So I think that even though we have not made the flashy signings that everybody thinks, I still think Chelsea have improved. I think Koulibaly is a great replacement on Rudiger. Some people could argue that he may be an upgrade. That's a debate for another time. I think that hijacking Man City's deal for Cucurella is excellent business. Excellent business. I think he's a very, very good player. And I think with Chilwell still recovering, I mean, yes, he's back, fit and everything, but he's still going to need time to get back up to speed after his really bad injury. I think signing Cucurella, whether to play left back, left wing back, or left centre back, that's a great piece of business. So I think our defense has improved. It was announced today that Azpilicueta has signed on for another 2 years, that experience will be valuable.
Saw that.
So I think that I think the side has improved, and I know that there are more signings to come, for sure. So I am interested to see what happens in terms of us signing more forwards. I don't know what's going to happen. If we do, I get you. It will make our third place more secure. But I still think the side has improved enough. I mean, yes, Lukaku is gone, but we're not really losing a whole bucket load of goals there. And I just think that we are going to do well. I think that people are sleeping on us because we get thrashed by Arsenal in a preseason friendly, and that's okay. I don't mind sleep on us at your peril, but
let me just say,
go ahead.
Let me just say that 4-0 result at Arsenal did not even figure into my thinking. But continue.
I know. I'm just saying, people online, like I have seen people's predictions for top four, and man, nobody has Chelsea at top four. I am like, okay, you do you. But I'm just saying that it's okay to look at a side in preseason, and yes, we started our transfer window late and everything, but we still have a very good manager. We still have a very good squad. And I think personally, when we get rid of some other players like the Ross Bartleys, the Michy Batshuayis, who have not been given squad numbers apparently, Marcos Alonso is probably on his way to Barcelona. And keep an eye on that De Jong situation, because I have a strong feeling that Chelsea are going to use Marcos Alonso in that potential deal. We are still going to be cooking stuff between now and August. Yes, it's going to take time for the team to gel with new signings and not having that preseason, but I still think that we have enough to finish third.
All right.
I ain't saying it's going to be easy, but and in addition to everything I said, I can't put Spurs ahead of me. So yeah, those are my reasons.
Fair enough. Well, like I said, Sterling is a good signing, good player. My only question with Sterling is, is he going to be assertive? Is he going to play up to his standard? And that's my only question with Raheem Sterling. If he does that, then I have no doubt he will improve your attack. And if he plays like tentative Sterling, a little bit afraid in the moment, which he has done in the past on certain occasions, then I have some concerns if I'm Chelsea. You still need somebody to put the ball ultimately consistently back in net. You could use a bit more goals from midfield. So I do take your point about Conor Gallagher. I think he's going to help in that respect in terms of getting goals from midfield, if given a chance.
Yeah.
And the forward line, I see that team. I saw that you guys were in discussions with RB Leipzig over a return back there for Timo Werner. Not sure what the position is with that, but I definitely do think you need I think Borja staying is a good bit of business as well. But I do think you maybe need, if you could find an established goal scorer. There's a guy from Portugal across there in Manchester. Maybe you get him, maybe not. But
did you also see the other rumor? Did you also see the other forward that we're linked to?
Which one?
You really haven't seen it?
Nope.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Oh, I told Christopher about that last night. But he didn't want Aubameyang because he told me he wanted to play for Arsenal. But anyhow, don't go for you. Do I tell you? In fact, I tell you, Lukaku, if you take my word for it, when it comes to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I don't go for you.
I am mixed about that.
Well, I don't know. It all depends.
I believe he can. Exactly. That's the only thing that for me it has going for it, and the fact that he will put the ball in back of the net. But I do know of Aubameyang's issues sometimes.
In fact, go for him. That would really piss off Arsenal fans. Go for him.
Yeah, that's the other upside. that would really,
especially if he hit the ground running.
And to me, I think that it will be a decent signing, especially if it's a loan, because then it doesn't block Broja's development. Because I think Broja has potential. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater or anything, but he definitely has potential. There's a lot of upsides to that deal, and that's why I said I'm not worried yet about where we're going with our attack. And then if Timo leaves, somebody else is definitely going to come in. That's the word.
Okay, got you covered. Well, yeah, I would expect someone additional coming if Timo does leave. All right, so I think now we talk about Tottenham. who I have in third, and you have them in fourth because you have Chelsea in third. So once again, we have them the other way around.
Yeah.
What
if we have the top two the other way around too? Should be interesting.
We'll see. Mm-hmm. I don't think so though. Might just saying. But in terms of Tottenham, really simple. I've just been very, very impressed with their signings. Basuma, Richarlison. I think they've definitely improved the overall squad and the starting 11 in terms of what the starting 11 could be. I think that like I said, once Conte can get those guys to play consistently well, and so for example, whatever he thinks that their standard should be, if you get that out of them, week in, week out, I think Tottenham will definitely be a force to be reckoned with. And it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely not sleeping on Tottenham this year.
Yeah, neither am I. I mean, as I said, I have Chelsea in third, but I don't think it would be like an easy third, so to speak. I think Tottenham are going to be right there.
Yeah, it should definitely be interesting. But I do think Conte has made some, or in conjunction with Daniel Levy, have done some good business
so far. Because I think they're also linked with. I saw them linked to someone. I cannot remember who, but I thought, man, if Spurs got that, I can't remember. Maybe it will come back later. But I don't think they're done either. So something to look out for.
They've made like six signings already, right?
I think so. Bissouma, Foster, Richarlison, Perisic, Spence. I think I'm missing somebody, but that's 5.
Yeah,
I think I'm missing somebody though.
I think there's one more that they made already. Yeah, so I don't know how much more signings they want. They want to give themselves a betting issue. But fair enough. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. That's it, because I think the score is good. The only challenge that Tottenham have now, I think the score has a bit of depth as well.
Oh, Longley.
Yeah, Longley, right? Correct. Mm-hmm. I think the side has a bit of depth as well in terms of the squad.
Some much needed depth. Yeah.
So I think the only challenge will be, can they win games week in, week out, consistently put a run together so that they keep themselves in the conversation.
Right.
That would be their only issue. So now let's move on to our top 2. So I'll go first.
Yes, you take the lead there.
All right, so I have Liverpool in second and City in first. Although I will happily be wrong about this. This one that I don't want to get right. But I do have Liverpool as runners-up and City to retain the title. And quite simple, I just think that City is a slightly better team than Liverpool. Mm-hmm. I think City is a slightly better team than Liverpool. But I think in the end, what might come into play is, where each respective team's focus lies. Because obviously, Liverpool has more emphasis on winning the Premier League, whereas City will have more emphasis on winning that first elusive Champions League. So that could potentially play a role in terms of, where each respective team, which trophy they prefer to go after, to really, focus and emphasize on. Although both of them do have the squad depth that, as we saw last year, to fight on both fronts,
right,
almost at the bitter end. So it will be interesting. It's a tough one to call. I can't see Liverpool suffering something, maybe consistency or taking a welcome warm up, because Liverpool have made a couple new additions to that forward line. Darwin Núñez, Fabio Carvalho. How much time will they need to bed in? I think I do expect Salah to be his usual standard or close to it. Can Liverpool get a tune out of Bobby Firmino again? And can he avoid injury? Diogo Jota, who currently has a little bit of an injury, can he, maintain his good form? I think so, but can he, over? So I think what Klopp has done with this for Orlando is that Klopp has a bit of versatility in it. I think defense is pretty much okay. Midfield is dependent on people staying fit and getting into a rhythm of good form, essentially.
I think y'all need to sign another midfielder.
That's not going to happen.
It's
not going to happen. I honestly, I would have said so initially. I started the season, but it's not going to happen. I think hit it. I mean, like it or hit it. I think Jurgen Klopp is the star manager that he would work with what he has, and I think that he believes there's still something to get from a fully fit Naby Keita. I believe he believes that he can still get something from Henderson. But I mean, Henderson performs well, so let me not put it like that. But I still think he thinks that he has enough with Henderson and Naby Keita. I still believe, I know also Chamberlain has picked up an injury in preseason, but I still think that Klopp believes that he can still get something with also Chamberlain as well. I think the key, at this point that people might overlook when they say that Liverpool need an additional midfielder. I think the key for Liverpool will be the performance of Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones. Like I said, can they improve enough? They're essentially part of the first team squad, but can they improve enough to really push themselves now into the first 11 conversation? Yeah, so I think that's the key. How much will they develop? How much will they develop this season? Can they add a new dimension to the midfield and be a quality addition where we say, well, Liverpool truly didn't need a new midfielder, right? So I think that will be the key, or the in terms of in respecting the midfield. I don't think either of them are ready to play. For example, well, I don't think either of them are ready to push a Thiago or a Henderson or Naby Keita Oku start 11 on a consistent basis. But I think throughout the season, because I do think that they will get opportunities. I think throughout the season, they will have a vital role to play, and then that might be a case where, coming on towards the business end, you might start to see, one of them elevate into that. He could start here, yeah. He could start in this big game. So, kind of interesting. City. I think City has a better team than Liverpool. I think City has proven that they are almost impossible to stop against, they don't drop a lot of points. So that's what I mean. If Liverpool win the league, they have to be almost near perfect. City don't really drop points unless, they have a low level this season, which should be welcome. But I do expect City to, be good. I know there's been a lot of talk about Jack Grealish and what he brings to the team and what, blah, blah, and yada, yada, yada. But I think City will be fine, ultimately. I think they have 2 new goal scorers, and Haaland, I think the boy Alvarez would be a good signing. And a good player for them. So and they have a lot of red in the field. We know that City is a well-oiled machine in terms of, and they have a multitude of ways that they can hurt you. So I have no, unless they have like injuries or there's a drop off in form from multiple key players, which more often than not, judging by the past, that has been the result of injuries. I still see City just sharing it.
Okay. Well, to be honest, this was a really tough decision. And I think I only fully decided after listening to your thought, to be honest. Because let me tell you what was going through my mind. I was thinking, okay, who's going to win? I mean, City have been brilliant, but Liverpool have also been brilliant. And then I looked at the forwards. I say, okay, both teams have excellent forward lines, but you feel the edge in forwards go to Liverpool. Because in my opinion, Haaland still, I mean, I saw the game on Saturday. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And Haaland will score a bunch of goals, but I still think as a forward line, your forward line is better because you can see all of your forwards scoring goals consistently week in, week out.
Right.
Can Jack Grealish do that week in, week out? I'm not sure. Haaland will do it week in, week out, I believe. I firmly believe. Don't mind people on social media ready to come up with all the memes because he missed a chance and everything. Like, just sit down with that nonsense. I think Alvarez will be a good signing, but will he hit the ground running? So I gave my edge in the forward line to Liverpool. I gave my edge in midfield to City. I think City has the better midfield, both creatively and defensively. And then when it came to the defense, I actually think y'all's defense is better. I really do. I think City has a key injury at the back. Laporte is injured.
Right.
And obviously we know the quality of Liverpool's fullbacks unmatched. City still have not solved their left back issue, and they've sold Zinchenko. They're not going to get Cucurella, which makes me wonder what they're going to do there. Yeah, but there was a reason they were pursuing Cucurella, clearly. So
yeah, but I think Cancelo is still good enough for now. If they ultimately don't get a left back in, but I saw they were linked to Cameroon, where he's from, some guy in Spain. They're looking for a young left back in Spain, so I think that someone should be coming in imminently.
Okay, probably because they do need to replace Zinchenko. So then I was like, so that does not mean I give Liverpool the edge. But then I can't look past how brilliant City has been. And then something you said kind of solidified it in my mind. I think that when it comes down to it, Liverpool will drop more points against teams they shouldn't drop points against than City will. So that's the reason I'm going to give City the edge for the title. That's the only reason. But in my opinion, I just think Liverpool... I know they haven't signed a whole host of people, but I still think you guys are going to be strong this year. Yes, Mane is a huge loss, which is something else that came into my thinking. Mane is a huge loss. Huge loss. But I still think that y'all are going to be there pushing them all the way. But I think you guys will have more slip-ups against lesser teams than City will. So that's why I give City the edge. Purely because of that. Purely.
I think that's pretty potentially, but I think I do believe that's simply going to come down to how much Liverpool prioritizing the Premier League over Champions League. I think the defeat in the final last year means the Champions League will automatically be in their mind as well.
Yeah.
To try to win both. So we shall see. We shall see. I'm not as worried about City's attack as the other people are, because I see City have a multitude of ways to score, and I think yes, Haaland's going to score, Alvarez is going to score. And the thing that City does that Liverpool doesn't is that City gets more goals from the midfield. So I expect Bernardo Silva, again, Kevin De Bruyne to chip in with goals.
Actually, thank you for bringing that up. No, this is the other thing that just came to mind when you mentioned Bernardo Silva. There's a bit of a domino effect if Frankie de Jong leaves. If Frankie de Jong leaves Barcelona are going to go for Bernardo Silva. The only reason they haven't signed him yet, apparently, is because, they're still scraping together the coins. They're trying to scrape together the coins to sign everybody else. But they haven't gone for him yet because they need Frankie de Jong to leave. If Frankie de Jong leaves, Bernardo Silva will go to Barcelona. So I think that weakens City. I don't know why City will want Bernardo Silva to leave. I will personally reject all offers for Bernardo Silva because I think he's key for them. But
I'm going to say something. Finish.
Go ahead, finish. I was just finishing up by saying he's key for them.
He has been a very, very good player for me. But this is interesting. Because what is in my mind is that I don't think, what should I say? It would be a loss, but I think that our loss could be negated. And maybe there's just an English fan in me. But I'm thinking, okay, if Bernardo Silva leaves, then does that create more of a consistent play opportunity for someone to afford in the middle, as opposed to being one of the way forwards?
But does Foden primarily play through the middle, anyways?
No.
But then again, that was before Haaland came. Foden used to play as a false line sometimes, not true?
No, but when I play through the middle, I don't mean as a false line. I mean
as a number 10.
Yes, or number 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he normally plays, I would say, he plays a false line occasionally last year, but he's often used as a way forward. Coming from the right hand side to coming on left foot or pass. So does that create an opportunity? Because Bernardo Silva used to be used there before, and then he started getting used in midfield as a number 8 or a 10.
Okay.
So does that create an opportunity for Foden now to play in the more traditional half space player. Both left-footed. We'll see. So it might not be the worst thing ever in terms of the Foden's development. But we'll see. I don't know, it's just interesting because, like I said, I like Jack Grealish. I don't ever expect Jack Grealish to score heavy. So if people don't think that Jack Grealish to score 15, 20 goals, that's not going to happen. He's probably going to give you about 10 maximum. He's more of an assist maker than a goal scorer. And that's why I was always a little bit perplexed over the desire to allow Sterling to go, even though you signed. Because let's be fair. I would have more given Mahrez than Sterling, to be honest. But anyway, I digress. City could do as well.
Yeah. Their loss is my gain. But okay, so I am. So our top 6, we have the same teams, but I guess different orders for our own reasons. So let's see if we could touch quickly on relegation.
Correct. I'll give my bomb tree really, really quickly.
Let me hear.
Leeds. Although I don't like that, but I got Leeds. Nottingham Forest. Just because I want Jess Lingard to prove that he's a fraud.
Wow.
And Bournemouth.
Okay.
What was your bottom 3?
So I didn't choose a bottom 3 because I know that championship sides, when they come up, they usually struggle and tend to go right back down. But I haven't seen enough of either 3 of them play because I don't watch the championship and I didn't watch the playoffs. So I didn't want to be unfair and just say, okay, because they're coming up, they're getting back down. But I did have teams to watch for relegation. Okay. Obviously, the 3 that came up is Forest, Bournemouth, and who's the third team that came up?
From me that I called?
No, who's the other team that came up for the championship?
Oh, okay, that came up. Forest, Bournemouth, and Fulham.
Okay. So obviously you watch those 3, obviously, because they now come up for the championship. But I actually have some Prem sides that were in the Prem last season that I think we need to keep an eye on for relegation. Leeds was one of them for sure, because they've lost their 2 best players.
Correct.
That's huge. That's huge. I actually think we need to keep an eye on Leicester and Everton. So I'll tell you why. Leicester are in some serious trouble. I saw a quote from Brendan Rodgers saying that he understands that they can't sign any players based on their financial situation or something like that. Kasper Schmeichel is leaving, apparently. Which is he did leave already. Okay, that's amazing to me. I don't even who's going to be their number 1 now. But anyways, I think Schmeichel leaving. Maddison may go to Newcastle. Fofana may go to Chelsea. So they're losing 3 important players already. Tielemans and Arsenal links are continuing like wildfire. So those are 4 key players. Who are they going to sign between now and the end of the window? If those players leave, I don't know. And I'm kind of worried about them. And it's amazing to say that because this side was literally fighting for top 4 just a couple seasons ago. So I am worried about Leicester. I'm also worried about Everton because I don't know how you sell Richarlison to Spurs for 60 million and you have not replaced him unless you're calling who's the guy they signed from Burnley this week?
Carney.
Right. Unless you're calling him Richarlison's replacement. Not sure about that. So I know they signed Tarkovsky as well. Apparently they just went shopping at Burnley. I mean, you can't expect to come from fighting relegation to then just go and buy 2 players that got relegated as well. Not saying that they're not bad players, but I just feel like Everton needed more quality, especially after struggling. Now you have a case where I saw Frank Lampard saying this week that Dominic Calvert-Lewin could be out for 6 weeks. So you sell Richarlison. Calvert-Lewin seems to can't keep fit at the moment. And the season starts for you on Saturday. Like what is Everton really doing? So I think we need to be on the lookout for that. I think the only reason I'm going to be honest, I love Lampard, But the only reason Everton survived the drought was because of their crowd. That's literally, they had a 12 man that was spurring them on. And then Chelsea went there and played their crap, but that's a whole other storyline. I just don't know what they've done this summer, and I am worried about them. So yeah, those are my three existing Premier League sides that I think we need to keep an eye on: Leicester, Everton, and Leeds. I think that the business or lack of business by those three teams, given where they were at last season, is a serious concern for me.
Okay. So let me just give a little bit of context behind my decisions for my bottom three, and then I'll touch on your statements about your Premier League teams.
I thought your context for Nottingham Forest was already well laid out. You want Jesse Lingard to be proven in front?
I was joking with that statement, okay?
Were you?
Yeah, because it ain't about proving he's a fraud, but you already know he's a fraud. I don't know more. I already know he's a... Anyway. We'll cover that eventually. But we already... Anyway, right. Let me say again, sidetracked. Leeds. Like you said, Leeds lost their best, well, two of their better players, Rafinha for sure, and Calvin Phillips. I think that's going to be two substantial losses to their playing squad, and it'll be interesting how they react, seeing as they barely survived last season. So that's why I have them. Even if they don't get relegated, I think that they'll be in the conversation for most of the season. Mm-hmm. As a potential candidate. But it's not a case I want to get relegated. It's just that I felt, okay, losing Phillips and Rafinha is a big blow. Especially when you consider that people like Bamford, for example, haven't played a lot of football in recent seasons because of injury. They got a lot of players they got a few players on the team that I don't believe, are any good. Daniel James, for example. So yeah. It's going to be interesting. And also, I think the American coach that they brought in, he did well, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can get, a similar to of them this season. But we'll see. But I have him as a potential candidate. I have Nottingham Forest because I actually went and look at Forest's squad. And I have to say, I wasn't that impressed by the squad. They've made a lot of signings, 12 signings, I believe. But none of the names really stand out. Jesse Lingard. Well, Jesse. Well, I don't really understand why. You see, what Forest has indicated to me is that they might be a poorly run club. They had a poorly orchestrated summer transfer window. Because yes, I think the allure of Jesse Lingard is that he's an experienced Premier League player, who would have been at a big club. He's not going to be worse for being at Manchester United. But the fact you give him a $200,000 a week contract for 1 year, it's a little bit weird, a little bit strange that the life of the contract is only 1 year. So he hasn't really committed to your team. He's just committed to seeing how this goes for the season. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Not really sure. So that's just my concern. How I feel about Jesse Lingard. I think that Jesse Lingard is a purple patch footballer. So I do expect at different points in the season he will have his purple patches, and then at certain points in the season he will have his lulls. I think Forest is whether or not this step or go down is going to be simply down to how their defense copes and how much goals they get in attack. Like I said, in attack, I didn't really say any names that stood out, but like you said, we don't really know the championship teams
right
that well. But interesting watch. I do expect them to be, because oftentimes you find that a lot of these teams who come up and they make a bucket of signings, a lot of times those are the ones who struggle,
Yeah. We saw it with Fulham. Wasn't there a summer Fulham spent like 100 million and still went back down?
Correct, right. Exactly. But having said that, the reason I don't have Fulham in bottom three is that looking through Fulham's squad, because remember I would have some of the players from the last time they were there. I do think Fulham has the best squad out of the three teams to come up.
I also rate Scott Parker as a manager. I think he's good.
That was the interesting thing for me with Bournemouth, because I know that Parker again is their manager, but then I'm looking at their forward line and I'm like, where are the goals going to come from? Dominic Solanke and Yeah.
All right, Parker coaches Bournemouth now. Oh my gosh.
Right. So that's why I have them in
Just
the
not
bottom three,
thinking
because I
about him
don't think
as
that their squad has a genuine quality either. But we'll see. I could be wrong. In terms of the Premier League sides that you mentioned, yes, Everton is a concern, but I think ultimately Everton will survive. Maybe not with Lampard as manager. He might lost a job before the end of the season.
Man, don't say that. Don't say that.
I must be honest. I must be honest. I must be honest and tell people the truth. Lampard might lost a job before the end of the season. You hear it here first. You know what I'm saying? But I do think Everton will, find a way to remain elite. I do take your point about, well, first, I don't really think that Calvert-Lewin is a good player anyhow. So whether or not he fit or
that's not true. He's a good player for Everton.
For who?
He has been good for Everton.
Wait. This question: is he a good player? No, it has been good for Everton.
Yes, he is a good player. Yes, he's a good player.
Not to me. But he's one player. You think that hot too? That
oh my gosh!
Listen, people. Physical beauty or physical attractiveness is swimmer. It's an opinion. Though.
Wow! Do not listen to this boy.
don't listen to this boy. It's true.
Do not listen to this boy.
It is the truth.
You could be hot, but if you're a terrible player, I would say you're a terrible player. Well, he's not a terrible player.
But he's a good. You would take that, Chelsea?
Of course not. I never say he's a top 6 player, but he's not a bad player.
He's a charmer. He's a pub footballer, man. He's a guy for the pubs. Wow. Yeah. I don't really rate Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Evidently.
I think England just in a position where the only thing about it is Harry Kane and nobody else as a striker. So England in a position where England searching and digging high, low, and wide, trying to find somebody to put the hope on. Whether it be Calvert-Lewin, Tammy Abraham, although I think Abraham is a better footballer than Lewin. But England will try to put the jet on any boy back right now to get low, a low hope for the straight for it. Because seriously, because when we get to talking about the World Cup, we can talk about this, the fact that England do have a concern in terms of who should be or who could potentially fill in for Harry Kane or somebody if somebody was to get injured.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So that's what England want her. But even if Calvert leaves, Patrick Bamford is a better player than Calvert-Lewin as well. Calvert-Lewin just tall. He willing to put himself in basic situations in terms of getting the challenges with keepers. And then else, they ain't gonna name with movement. He ain't particularly clinical. I don't know. Methy. I saw him for a long time because he was in Everton team from 10 years to 21 player. So was never really fully impressed, to be honest. So, but I do get your point. Him being injured will be because then you ask the question, where will their goals come from? But I think they'll be okay. I know you talk about. I think you can improve your team by buying players from a team that has been relegated.
I agree. I'm not saying not. Look at how I was getting for Rafinha and Leeds almost get relegated. I'm not saying not. It's just I feel like they need more. They need more.
They need players that they would have signed a right to. They don't need no more nothing. They need the players that they would have signed over the last couple of years that haven't been performing to start performing. Dele Alli, what come he made in January? I remember for the last 6 months. He need to start. He's one I need to show where he was out of the 6 club. I like the Margaret, right? The Margaret. He's a good, nice little young player. Yeah, and he start off good, and then he going cool. He need to fight back for him. So Everton has spent a lot of money, but the problem with Everton is that the players that they have spending money on have not been consistently performing.
That's fair.
So if it was the owner, I'm looking for the more additional players, so much like that, like someone that they from just need to put one away.
And again, here talking about Everton being relegation candidates, and that's me know the eco on 1-0 against me Saturday, and they come on this podcast next week. When's the crying?
Is it first game of season? I don't think you'll be crying yet.
You mad? Everton away is a bogey game for Chelsea. I mean, that's it.
No, I'm not saying it, but I don't think you'll be crying yet. I don't think you'll be crying. As in, like, if you lose, I don't think you'll come here crying.
You'll be surprised here. Chelsea's met my emotions do some strange things.
Interesting. And the last thing that you mentioned was Leicester. correct?
Yeah.
I don't think Leicester will get relegated even if they lose the players that you mentioned. I think that Brendan Rodgers is a good enough coach that he should be able to navigate, and that's good for Brendan Rodgers because Brendan Rodgers don't like lofty expectations either. So he's a man.
Oh gosh.
It's truth. Brendan Rodgers must be happy that people because now he could go quietly and if everything, regardless of where everything finish, he gets some credit. Oh, we lost the body, so he finishing in top half the table or finishing just outside the rate and having a nice little cut run. Brendan Rodgers like that sort of things. So I think Brendan Rodgers will be okay. I think Leicester will be okay. Leicester got Soyuncu, still got Vardy, still got Albert. Leicester still got good enough players to keep them out of relegation to survive a potential relegation fight. I don't necessarily see Leicester being pulled in seriously into a relegation fight. I think that they will sort of be around the realms of where Palace normally is, which is just outside the rate for most season, arm's length, and then eventually end, make sure that secure the safety.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So before we go, I would like us to do some quick predictions for the top 6 games on this opening weekend.
Okay.
See how they stack up when we come back.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow, Palace versus Arsenal.
Palace to win 2-0.
You serious?
Am I serious?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking for Palace. Sorry, 2-1. I'm looking for Palace. Palace give it a really upset. Is Arsenal?
Nah, I don't think they will. I think Palace. Remember, Palace preseason has been significantly hampered because they weren't able to take a lot of their key players on tour. So I actually think they're a bit undercut. So I think Arsenal will probably win 2-0.
Arsenal will score first and Palace will come from behind. Wilfred Zaha. Wilfred Zaha.
Nope. I don't agree. I think Arsenal will win, and then you hear the
Arsenal drop points, right? If Arsenal drop points or Palace win, you come next year, right? I'm going to stop disagreeing with my predictions.
All right, fine.
Palace,
just make sure document them good.
I got Palace into one though. I can smell a banana skin to me.
I think Arsenal will win this comfortably 2-0. So I can't wait to revisit these next week here.
First, right? Arsenal don't ever make that comfortable. So how do you tell with all his wishes?
This is a new and improved Arsenal. Okay, Fulham. All right, and Arsenal to win 2-0. Good. Okay. Fulham versus Liverpool.
Liverpool to win 2-1.
I think it'll be a comfortable 2-0.
I think 2-1.
Spurs versus Southampton.
Southampton to win 2-0.
I'll say 3.
Okay.
3-0. Everton versus Chelsea.
Ah, boy. Chelsea to win 2-1.
Oh my gosh. This is so hard because we never win. We never win away at Everton.
We can't win at Everton, no boy. We never win there for sure.
I tell you, listen to me. If we couldn't win last season, never win. Anyways, I'll go for 2-1 Chelsea for real.
Mm-hmm.
United versus Brighton.
I have United to win 2-1. I think just because of Old Trafford.
Okay. I think Brighton can score, so I'll go for a United 2-0 win.
You don't think Brighton will score?
Yeah, I don't think they'll score.
Okay.
West Ham v City.
City to win 2-1. That's a tough one though.
You know what? I think this will be the upset.
Okay.
I think West Ham will win 2-1.
Interesting.
All right, so when we come back next Wednesday, it should be interesting.
You can hear me before Man City because man Palace beat Arsenal, Mike. Yeah, Marissa. You see, you know your party to the Arsenal? You watch the Truth by Arsenal on TV?
I'm telling you, Arsenal will win tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Fair enough. We shall see.
Yeah,
Tomorrow,
we'll see.
wait to get it tomorrow. Right, Gabriel Jesus saying no to call. You know, after that, Gabriel she got his call. He had a year. Like they call somebody. Yeah, he ain't know the call.
Oh gosh,
I
whatever.
don't like all I think is this, man. Those
I
fans
have
are
faith.
high class.
I have faith in the Arsenal, man.
Got faith in who?
I have faith in the Arsenal.
I must say that you really, really changed this New York too. Saying things I never thought I would hear.
Honestly, usually I always have Palace to beat Arsenal at home, but I just believe that because Crystal Palace preseason preparations were ideal, Arsenal's preseason preparations were ideal. I think that those are going to factor in.
We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see.
Yes, we
I'll
shall
be
see.
watching the game tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Well, since I expect Arsenal to win, I probably won't watch it, but I'll probably watch the highlights.
No. You need to watch it. You need to watch it.
Whatever you say.
You know, but as you know, as I often say, Arsenal never pray this come before the fall. And the flag too close to the sun.
Look, their fans are so cocky right now. Then,
When the flag too
man.
close to the sun. Never happened to Icarus. Anyhow, that's what I Arsenal.
Please.
No, but not for the season, but me from tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I got some more jokes to make on Arsenal, some more Arsenal jokes over the course of the season for sure. All right,
I
guys.
bet you do.
I hear you.
I say, bet you do.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. This has been another episode of the Dugout Podcast. It's a pleasure having you. Join us next time.